Khamenei's decision to not join the FATF has banned Iranians from receiving access to the World Health Organization's COVAX. Iran has lost access to the World Health Organization's COVAX program, which is distributing COVID-19 vaccines, because it is blacklisted by the FATF. Deputy Speaker of Islamic Consultative Assembly said. The United States, however, says no sanctions penalty on humanitarian aid for Iran. In early December, in a statement explaining the workings of its sanctions, United States authorities said foreign banks would not be punished for financing the supply of health and medical items such as hand sanitizers, ventilators, or personal protective equipment. The United States maintains broad exceptions that allow for the commercial sale and export of humanitarian goods, officials say. It also made clear that there were other exceptions to processing payments with the country, such as covering staff costs at international organizations with missions in Iran. Talking in an exclusive interview with TOLO News, Lutfullah Najafizadeh challenged the propagandist minister Zarif, questioned him about Iran's interventions in the Middle Eastern countries and Afghanistan. The propagandist minister lied as usual. Therefore, Iranian citizens have praised the Afghan journalist for his courage and dignity, and slammed propagandist reporters who are on Iran's regime payroll. Sons of the conservative politician, senior advisor to the supreme leader in international affairs, Ali Akbar Velayati, reportedly participated in a so-called economy meeting in Turkey. According to reliable sources, sons of the advisor to the supreme leader are involved in such business deals to breach both international and United States sanctions on Tehran. Reviving Iran nuclear deal under United States President-elect Joe Biden would require striking a new agreement setting out how Iran's breaches should be reversed. United Nations Atomic Watchdog Chief Rafael Grossi said Iran has breached many of the deal's limits on its nuclear activities in response to United States President Donald Trump's withdrawal from the deal and the reimposition of United States sanctions against Tehran that the deal lifted. Tehran often says it can quickly reverse its breaches if United States sanctions are removed. Biden, who takes office on January 20th, has said the United States will rejoin the deal if Iran resumes strict compliance with the agreement that imposed strict curbs on its nuclear activities in return for the lifting of sanctions. In an interview with Reuters, Grossi, who heads the International Atomic Energy Agency that policies the deal, said there had been too many breaches for the agreement to simply fall back into place. I cannot imagine that they are going simply to say, we are back to square one, because square one is no longer there, Grossi said at IAEA headquarters. There is more nuclear material, there is more activity, there are more centrifuges, and more are being announced. So what happens with all this? This is the question for them at the political level to decide, said Grossi, an Argentine who took office as IAEA Director General a year ago. Iranian scholar Dr. Nahid Qani on Saturday slammed all disinformation over flight PS 752, which was directly shot down by FDR-IRGC air defense. You fooled 67,000 people over this lie you spread 11 months ago, Dr. Qani wrote on her Twitter account. Based on leaked audio from Khamenei's meeting, she accused all rogue wars who have been appeasing the Islamic regime's terrorist attack. The leaked audio from Khamenei's meeting reveals that he and his men decided to shoot the PS 752 a night before the attack. They picked this particular flight because it was low risk as the passengers were civilians. Shaheen Moqaddam, whose wife and 10-year-old son were killed in the attack, says the leaked audio has been delivered to Canadian security police. The Islamic Revolutionary Prosecutor issues an arrest warrant for an Iranian citizen for alleged insulting the terrorist dead Qasem Soleimani. Monarchist Arsham Rezai currently serves his conviction at Karaj Rajai Shah prison. He faces new charges of disturbing national security and propaganda against the regime at the Islamic court. Mehdad Bakhtiari was released after 47 days of detention. He was sentenced to a 5-year suspended prison term and banned from traveling abroad. According to his brother, Manucher Bakhtiari, he became an outspoken critic of Islamist arts after their agents killed his nephew in the nationwide Iran protests. Baluch citizen Afshin Abadian was fatally shot by Iran's law enforcement forces in the southeastern part of the country. Islamic authorities expelled a post office employee and arrested him for alleged dancing in front of colleagues during a retirement ceremony. Although dancing has been considered an inseparable element of Persian culture and tradition, Sharia rules have announced public dancing illegal in Iran. Iran is a country where both men and women are being arrested by cyberspace police for posting and sharing videos of themselves dancing. Amir Alvandimer, one of the Iranian young demonstrators who took part in the nationwide uprising in 2019, died in the hospital hours after the Islamic agents shot him in his back during the protests. Reza Moazzami is another Iranian young demonstrator who took part in the nationwide uprising in 2019. He died in the hospital after being shot by Islamic regime snipers during the protests. Islamic City Council in Iran says Iranian-born mathematics professor Maryam Mirzakhani from Stanford University is not eligible for naming a street due to refusing compulsory hijab. Officials claim that she had not religious and patriotic commitment and never provided public service. Maryam was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2013, and cancer spread to her bones and liver. She died on 14th of July 2017 at the age of 14 at Stanford Hospital in Stanford, California. Top officials who've refuted Trump's election fraud claims the FBI has concluded that Iran was behind online efforts earlier this month to incite lethal violence against the Bureau's director, a former top United States cyber expert, and multiple state elections officials who have refuted claims of widespread voter fraud promoted by President Trump and his allies, federal and state officials said Tuesday. FBI Director Christopher A. Wray and outset Homeland Security Department official Christopher Krebs were among more than a dozen people whose images, home addresses, and other personal information were posted on a website titled Enemies of the People. Crosshairs were superimposed over the photos. Many of these officials in one way or another have attested to the security of November's election, saying they had not seen evidence of widespread fraud, a conclusion at odds with Trump's baseless claims that the election was rigged. The following individuals have aided and abetted the fraudulent election against Trump, the website falsely claimed. Iran was active in seeking to interfere in the United States election, targeting Democratic voters in October with fake but menacing emails that purported to be from a far-right group, threatening recipients to vote for Trump or we will come after you.